Okay, here's the same scene from yesterday, except what I've done, I've gone and added some trucks into the scene from the virtual storm chaser program that I'm working on. Of course, this is in Blender Render, so I have access to particles, so it's not quite the same. Because if you're just going around blasting objects in the scene, it doesn't really do much to the scene. It's kind of boring. Now, there's one thing I learned from painting years ago is that, you know, try and find paintings with people or animals in them that are really well painted, because that kind of brings the emotion of the painting to life. And even a vehicle in this animation can bring this scene to life because you tend to associate people with a vehicle. Right, so I mean, if it was just a picture of a barn, that's one thing, but you definitely a vehicle definitely personalizes a little bit more, and houses do too. So you can do things without actually having people in the scene entirely if you can't do people very well. So let me just get rid of these things here first. So I'll show you what I mean. Let's get grab these guys. I can't see them yet because I have my display turned off. Alright, there they are like that, so just get rid of those. And then I'll get rid of these also. I like to put these in groups as I build them at the outset, that way I can quickly get rid of them. And what we'll do is we'll add some houses to the scene real quick, and I'll show you how I flatten an area, or just zoom in on this general area so I'm in this general vicinity. Alright, so from here maybe I'll add just a simple cube. It's obviously too big for starters. Alright, so I'll just approximate the size of a house like that. So that'll be the base of the house here. I'll just go into edit mode and just a couple things. We'll just do a couple things real quick. Just do that, and then for that, that'll be my roof. So I'll make a roof. There's the roof of a house. It's going to be very basic, I assure you. And then in here, we'll just make a. We'll cut this way a couple times, and this way a couple times. Okay, so then that allows me to come over here. Maybe I'll pick, before I do that, let's do one thing. Let's give the whole house a color, a basic material. In fact, this is how I would usually start. I'd start in here, I'd take the existing one, I'd call it house, right? And we'll make it maybe a slightly blue house. I don't need to assign it because there was a material in the material slot like this. Then it would go in here and maybe select this entire roof structure here. So C is easy, gives me that. Whoops, I want this. So then I'll grab all those, and I'll come over to this side, and I'll grab all these here, and then I'm going to make another material for that. That's going to be the roof. I'll name it. It's easiest if you give your materials names and assign them right away. That way you have them in groups. Alright, so I'll just give a basic black roof like that and assign it. That way if I press A and deselect everything, if I just want to get the house, then I can get the house. I can select the entire house like that, right? Or if I just want to get the roof, I can select just the roof and change it. And then we'll do one more thing. We'll just get a couple windows. It's a window, and we'll just leave it that color, but we'll put transparency on and we'll turn it way down. Then you gotta assign it. Okay, so there we have a basic house in the scene. And so I'm going to set it down. It's going to sit in this general location, but I want to make it into a rigid body as well, so it'll be affected by the tornado. Where's my rigid body tools? There they are. So it's active like that. There's the green. So let's turn this off. Let's just run it real quick and see what happens. So you see it's a little unstable because it's not sitting on a platform. Well, it could be because of the size. One thing I didn't do, I didn't scale it, so we'll scale it here in a second, but let's just see if it's affected by it already. Yep, there it goes. Alright, so one of the things I forgot to do is that typically with this house selected, I'm just going to press Control A, and I'm going to use change scale. I'm looking at a really small scene right now. This is scaled down smaller than normal because I had an earlier fluid simulation in here when I was running water through here. Maybe you've seen that before. Alright, so let's see if that makes any difference. So it's still bouncing around. So then what I'll typically do is I'll come into here like this, and I'll grab this surface here, and maybe I'll just grab a little chunk of it. Where's that face select mode here? So maybe I'll grab a region in here like this, and I'll press SZ0. Now something didn't work right. That must be because I'm in that mode, and I'll go global just because SZ0. There we go. Now I've flattened that surface, you can see from there. That way this house will sit flatter on here. And since of course we have 4 trucks, we better have a couple more houses in the scene. So then I would go maybe make a modifier, just in a quick array modifier. And I'll do that in Y, I think. Just go backward. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we get 4 houses in there. And apply it. Okay, so now we have 4 houses in the scene. We can always go full screen, control up arrow. Look at it from a distance. Yep, they seem to be there. Alright, let's run it. Yeah, they're still a little unstable. I'll have to do a little bit of work on that, or just have to make it larger in general. Smaller items definitely have more difficulty with it. Ah, and there's the last problem. So you've probably seen that before, and I know what that problem is. So if we go into here, so they're all the same object essentially right in here, even though I applied it. So when I come in, I'm going to select them all, press P, separate by loose parts, leave edit mode, go back, transform the origin to the geometry. Now they should all have individual origins instead of being part of one entity. Let's try it one more time. And there they go individually like that. Okay, well I hope that gives you some more insight into how to help design your scene, and I'll see you in the next lesson.